This new moon in Capricorn is a serious, no bullshit start to the year ahead. It incorporates themes of something similar to what happened to all of us individually late 2019 until early 2020. We'll get into all that. If you are excited to dive into what exactly we can expect from this new moon in Capricorn on January 2nd, 2022, which if I say 2021, I'm sorry, I don't think I will. I think I'm trying to nail it into myself, but you know, we all fuck up. Well, if you're excited though for whatever fucking year, like I say in this video, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. First, we're gonna get into the overall vibe of this new moon, the astrological components, then we will dive into how this is playing in some real world charts. If you have not already seen your January 2020 monthly forecast for your rising sign, where this new moon is going to show up for you, will be explained in that video based on your rising sign, along with the year ahead 2022 videos, which are also out if you have not seen that for the entire year ahead for you. And by the way, if you are new, I am Maren. I am a astrologer. Obviously, I'm also a crypto trader and investor, as a lot of the content on my channel is also based around that. So welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you have been here a while. Quick mention of Swan Bitcoin, safest, easiest place to buy Bitcoin. You can find a link down below where you get $10 of free Bitcoin on your first purchase. Also, Cointelegraph Markets Pro is a resource I use to get an edge in trading. I have a link down below if you're interested in hearing about news alerts before the rest of the market knows that coins are trending. Vital resource that I use. Really like the team, the project, and I use that readily. We have a new moon in the sign of Capricorn on January 2nd, 2022 at 1:33 p.m. Eastern Time. So new moons are new beginnings. They are the start of a new cycle that'll last around 1 month in a particular area of our chart. The sun and the moon are at 12 degrees of Capricorn. On a new moon, the moon appears dark or disappears in the sky, given that the sun and the moon are close to each other in the sky. Now, as a preface to the other parts of this new moon is in the second decan of Capricorn. The decans are third parts. Each sign is divided into 3 parts, and they add nuance or detail into the zodiac. They do not change the sign itself, but they add nuance into that particular third. This second decan of Capricorn is associated with the 3 of Pentacles tarot card, and even though Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, this particular decan gets co-rulership by Mars. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so this part of Capricorn is particularly dignified, and I happen to have my ascendant at 19 degrees of Capricorn in this decan as well. Makes sense that Mars is exalted there, even though it's ruled by Saturn. Mars and Saturn are the malefics, so having total rulership by Saturn and then this decan having Mars rulership is like evil villain mastermind kind of vibes, where saying no or being discerning is an important part of what this stands for. Given that Mars is exalted here, this is an area of the sky about working, putting in effort, and like labor, like actually getting something done. It is the card called Works, like that's a nickname for this tarot card, and it's kind of like building a cathedral. It's coordinated, cohesive labor and effort to build something that is a substantial project. It's often going to describe substantial projects. It is an in-process decan. It is not about celebration or endings. So we really are starting something that has no time to be wasted. This is intense, this is dedicated, it is serious, and it is necessary. And within 10 degrees of Venus retrograde and 13 degrees of Pluto, so basically in the same sign as this Venus-Pluto conjunction with Venus retrograde, this is a new beginning based on the very serious reevaluation of our time, our resources, and material scarcity in our lives. We're starting something new on a serious note because we see the scarcity, the time running out, and the material resources that are being wasted within our lives. I have a full video on my channel about this Venus retrograde in Capricorn, which is going to last until about the end of the month. So if you would like to see the video on Venus retrograde and what it means for the entire world and for you in particular, if you can apply it to your chart, make sure that you check out that video. I do find this new moon conjunct Venus to be a very peculiar paradox because the new moon is a new beginning. And in Capricorn, it's like this battle attack, this plan of getting something done, analyzing threats, developing a strategy. I myself, with my ascendant here, I do really think of the world as like a battle. That's how I see things. I study war. I really like looking at generals throughout time and history. And it's interesting because conjunct Venus is analyzing values, but Venus retrograde is rethinking or thinking of a more sustainable strategy. So we are thinking to start something new based on reevaluating what we need to change, but we're kind of like still walking backwards, but looking forwards now instead of looking back. We're ready to start something new as we're still analyzing what really needs to be changed to be more sustainable. think to the Capricorn house in your chart, the whole sign house of Capricorn. There would have been a crisis there or a serious growing up time late 2019 until early 2020. Specifically, if you have around 20-degree Capricorn placements or 20-degree-ish cardinal sign placements in general, it's going to really show up for you. It's related to that. It's not PTSD or like re-traumatizing or anything, but it will be a development of that based on how that has changed in your life since that crisis. I really like trines to Uranus because a trine is harmony and Uranus is ingenuity, it is genius, it is forward thinking, it is bursts of genius moments. However, Mars square to Neptune, with Mars in Sagittarius, thankfully being adventurous and willing to be inspirational, but square to Neptune is a bit hazy, can be a bit inactive, a bit overly spiritual and idealistic. It's not close enough for me to be concerned. It's like 5 degrees apart, but I do think that the one downside to this with Mars square Neptune is you thinking of a battle plan, but hoping that it happens to you and gets in your lap and is handed to you rather than you actually going out and getting it. So just be aware of that. Mars sextile Saturn is helpful for structure and stamina, so we're not giving up on this. And Mercury will have just moved into Aquarius. So Saturn and Capricorn, as I've said, given that Capricorn and Aquarius are both ruled by Saturn, like Capricorn is boundaries and restriction, but it's top down. Aquarius is restriction, but it's bottom up, it's supportive. So having Mercury in Aquarius is communication that is more idealistic, forward thinking, and motivated than if it were in Capricorn itself. So it is a very intense, very sober new beginning about a tangible battle plan to be more resourceful and more sustainable with our material resources. It is kind of it's a sober new beginning, so it could be off the back of realizing, we don't have enough money, time, or resources to do as we thought we were, so we're being a little scrappier, a little bit more ingenious. But if you know where this is happening in your chart in the Capricorn whole sign house, do comment down below because it's happening fairly close to my ascendant. I am interested about how I'm going to be rethinking who I am. Maybe less makeup or something, given that it's a little bit, scarcity minded, even though I don't wear that much, but maybe we cut out the red lipstick. Just kidding, that will not happen. Anyway, let me know in a comment down below how you're feeling about this. In the United States' chart, Mars in Sagittarius is right on the United States ascendant. This is pretty aggressive, it's combative, and it does incorporate leadership. So I do wonder if Biden's going to do something that brings tense political opposition, given it's opposing Mars and Uranus in the 7th house. And with Venus, Pluto on the United States' natal Pluto in the 2nd, I see huge financial reconsiderations and reevaluating fiscal policy, currency, opposite Mercury retrograde in the 8th. I see lots of confusion about the market and the points of view about where the market is headed. I see overall confusion and lack of clarity around what should be done and where the market is headed. In the S&P 500's chart reflecting the market itself, Mars is on its natal Saturn in the 2nd house, eek, and Mercury is opposing its natal Uranus, eek. It's not the most active chart, but I do not like that. I do not like Mars on Saturn. That is like trouble with support and resistance. I do not like Mercury opposing Uranus. That is sudden news that just shakes the market. In Bitcoin's chart, a new moon local top is a possibility. However, with the erratic changes in momentum for the end of the year into early 2022, I am not super sticking by the lunar correlation, really making sense if we're going through wild momentum changes. However, it could be a local top. This is going to be a pivot point. The new moons and full moons are generally pivot points, even if they're not clear local tops or local bottoms during very sudden market transitions. The new moon is conjunct Bitcoin's natal sun in Capricorn within 1 degree, so it looks very important. We likely had a massive correction recently at the end of 2021, and I see the possibility of pivoting more to the downside if I'm honest, given that Mars is applying to square Bitcoin's natal Uranus in Pisces, which is unsupported volatility generally. It is, volatility to the downside, and Jupiter crossing Bitcoin's natal Venus as it did the very end of 2022 and 2021 and will probably show into 2022 is probably not so great given what it did to Bitcoin in the middle of May. However, with Venus coming up to trine Bitcoin's natal Saturn in the days following, I do see support levels holding. For Ethereum, it is probably also a local top, but I do like that Mars is exactly trine Ethereum's Mercury. It could be good news or faith in the project. Could be ETH 2.0 news or just generally more a favorable market structure in ETH, as has been happening recently at the end of 2021. This new moon, however, is within 1 degree of Ethereum's natal Pluto, which is very intense. It could be a new beginning that involves regulation or policy with a large degree of seriousness. And with Venus retrograde close to squaring Ethereum's natal Uranus, Uranus, troublesome volatility is likely as well, given these squares to Uranus. So if you enjoyed this and you would like to check out my newsletter, my membership, or my courses, please do down below, as well as all my other content where I post things, my Telegram channel where I announce everything. But otherwise, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment down below any thoughts you might have, and if you do like this, hitting the notification bell does ensure that you see this more often and every time. So in the meantime, take care, have an awesome new moon, and I will see you in the next one.